Hi everybody. With quarantine going on and not being able to go anywhere and just sitting at home doing nothing but thinking, I have thought about something that I would really like to share, and that would be my struggles and my journey with an eating disorder. And I feel like eating disorders really fly under the radar, and I just kind of want to be able to bring awareness about it and show that recovery is possible, even though it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication and commitment to being able to recover. So I just thought I would really like to share that all with you. And before I get started, I would like to apologize beforehand if I ever repeat something, talk in circles, or start to go back and forth, or if I pause for a really long time, because it can be kind of hard to remember certain dates and how everything happened, because it was about 3 years ago now, so it gets kind of hard to remember. Okay, so to begin, I'm going to talk about my story. And it was my freshman year of high school, and it was in April is when it all started. I had just got my braces on, and that was April 12th. And I just remember walking down not the basement stairs, walking down the stairs from my bedroom, and I was crying and complaining to my mom that I could not get on my favorite pair of jeans. And my mom just looked at me and said, "Well, you're the only one that can do something about that." So I was just like, "All right, I'm gonna do something about this. I'm gonna get healthy and lose some weight." So, so that's exactly what I did. And to start off, I wouldn't necessarily say I was dieting necessarily. I mean, I guess you could say I was, but I would kind of more say I was eating in moderation, really. I mean, I wasn't cutting stuff out of my diet at this point. I was eating the same foods, but limiting how much I ate. Most of that was like ice cream and sweet treats, cake, brownies, cookies, all that super good stuff. And, so for example, it would be after dinner, I would only have like one or two cookies instead of the whole package. Or, for breakfast, I would have one or two bowls of cereal instead of the whole entire box. And even just by doing that, I was starting to lose a significant amount of weight. And just to kind of put this into perspective real quick, I'm going to talk about numbers. So I just thought I would let you know in case anyone is kind of sensitive to that. I just want to be able to respect that. I started off weighing about 205 and 210 pounds. And over the course of 6 months, I ended up weighing 128 pounds. So I had ended up losing 78 pounds. In the course of 6 months, that's a lot. That is a lot. Whew. Anyway, so kind of back on track to how everything got started. So by doing that over the summer is kind of when cross country started also, and that was in the month of June was when cross country started. So even at that point, like I said, I had lost weight. And then when I started running, it really started to speed things up, because as I progressed and started to lose more and more weight, I started to become a lot more obsessive about food, obsessive about running, obsessive about cooking, but not eating anything I cooked, only serving it to other people for them to eat, but I couldn't eat it. It's just silly things like that, really. I became very obsessive, extremely obsessive about the most silly things, honestly. It was, for example, like every single night, I had to line up the shoes in the entrance, and they had to be perfect. They had to be all lined up. Shoes had to be in the exact same order every single night. And I could not go to bed until that was done. And a lot of times my dad would catch me doing that, and he'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Nothing." He knew what I was doing, and I knew that he knew, but anyways. So kind of over the course of the summer, when cross country started to get more intense, that's kind of when I also started to get more intense with my eating also. And sophomore year, I also became a lot better of a runner. And I think I definitely associated losing weight and getting better at running. I associated those things together, like they related. And that's not the case, because that's not how running works at all. And so I was very freaked out kind of towards the end of the cross country season. I was really freaked out about gaining weight, because I thought that if I gained any weight, I'm going to get slower. I'm going to be a slower runner if I gain weight. And that was a really big fear of mine. I was petrified of that. That was like the number one thing on my fear list, was to gain any weight, because I didn't want to become a slower runner. It's like, what the heck? I've gotten so much better since sophomore year. Like, there is no way that I'm going to gain any weight just to get slower. Like, it ain't happening. And then kind of towards the end of summer, so it was about August, I had went up to my mom and I was like, Mom, I am losing a boatload of hair. Like, this is falling out by the gobs and the gobs and the gobs. And it's normal to lose a little bit of hair. But, I mean, yeah, that's normal. But when you have hair falling out, like, extreme amounts, that's one of the signs of an eating disorder. That's just the sign that your body is malnourished and that you need more nutrients. And then so she made an appointment, and when we went there, we were basically told I was fine. Like, I was fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Like, so it kind of felt like that was a little bit of a waste of time, really. Like, it just seemed kind of dumb. So that was about in August. That was before school started. And then September hit, and that's when school started. And that's kind of when I became a lot more rigid. That's because I started to donate my lunch to other people at school, or I would throw it away. Gave it to the trash can. I fed the trash can instead of feeding myself. And so then that also started to speed things up really quite quickly, because it was cutting out a significant, I was missing a whole entire meal, so I was only eating breakfast and dinner, so that's only 2 meals a day. That's not enough to be, it's not enough to survive, and that's not enough to run. You need fuel. This is gonna sound cliche and dumb, but you're like a car. You need fuel to go. If you don't have gas in your car, you're not gonna go anywhere. If you don't put food in your body, you're not gonna make it. So I started to deplete very fast at that point. So exactly when school hit, that's really when I started to go downhill quite quickly. And then when October hit, that was okay. So I don't think anything super huge happened in October. Oh, Halloween. I went trick-or-treating with Alana Garrett. And I mean, it was really fun. I really enjoyed myself. I had a good time. But it seemed, looking back, it was kind of silly to go because I didn't eat any of my candy. What's the point of going trick-or-treating if you're not going to eat any of the candy? It's kind of silly,